Podsters, this is it. This is the day. This is the day that we all, or definitely me, and those on my team have been waiting for, planning for, thinking about, ruminating over. This is it. This is Thrive Hive Potties. I'm so excited. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, welcome to the former Unmute Yourself, the podcast, which is now the Thrive Hive Podcast. So for those of you who might have been out and back, or even for those of you who are following along, if you're new here, welcome to the Thrive Hive. I want to talk a little bit about why I chose to rebrand and relaunch this podcast, as well as my community, after 5 years of success. For those of you who don't know me, I had a very long corporate career, successful corporate career, VP of global sales, walked away from that career to start Unmute Yourself, to write my book and to empower women to speak up and advocate for themselves at work and at home. It was my calling, and that might sound cheesy, although if you're here, it probably doesn't sound cheesy to you. It was my passion. It was my calling. I basically said, all right, this is it. I need to double down on this because I believed that much in the power of women advocating for themselves and what happens when women speak up. And I started this company and it was very successful. I wrote a best-selling book. We have the top 5% podcast, thanks to you all. We're in year, I think it's 3, which is probably about 150 podcasts, a little bit, 160 plus podcasts. And I love this community. I love all of you. I love the messages I get, the texts, the screenshots on Instagram, the DMs on Instagram. I love all of it. There's nothing that brings me more joy than when someone says, oh yeah, I heard that on your podcast. And I'm like, I didn't even know you listened to my podcast. That's amazing. Or when a stranger reaches out to me. So I love, love, love this community. What I found over the past, I'd say maybe 6 months or so, is that the Unmute Yourself brand and the Unmute Yourself messaging to me was becoming a little tired and a little monotonous and a little mundane. So let me clarify for a minute. I always will believe in the importance of women speaking up and advocating for themselves. I always will suggest that you get to decide who you want to be, how you want to live, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. I will always support persuasive communication. I will always support your personal board of directors. I will always support all of the topics in the book, overcoming conversation, gender bias, everything that's in Unmute Yourself, the book. I felt like I was not excited about the message anymore. And it felt monotonous to me. And I was doing it for the wrong reasons. And for those of you that have been here a while, you know that if it does not bring us joy, we do not do it over here I was going to say Unmute Yourself, the podcast, at the Thrive Hive Podcast. So let me be clear. Talking to all of you brings me incredible joy. When I work with a one-on-one client and they tell me about how they put into action one of the things we talked about and what a game changer it was for their business or their career, brings me incredible joy. When somebody says, oh, I read that in your book, brings me incredible joy. The actual message was no longer bringing me joy. And I said, this might be time to do something a little different. And at the end of this podcast, I'm going to tell you how I came to realize this, and it's going to be a showstopper. So I was doing it for the wrong reasons. Those wrong reasons are, number one, by the way, I'm a little off my game today. And do you want to know why, Podsters? I can't even believe I'm telling you this. I stayed up until 2 a.m, binging on the last season of Yellowstone. I usually go to bed. I'm usually in the bedroom by 9. I'm in the bed by 9:30. I might read for a little while. Staying up late and binging shows is not my jam. It is definitely not how I thrive. So the irony is not lost on me here. And at the same time, I feel like I need to come clean and tell you because I'm not going to beat myself up about it. It's a little indulgence that we all need to allow every now and then. Here are the wrong reasons. One, it was expected of me. And that never feels good when you're doing something because it's the expectation. And I know you know what this feels like. It's when you stay in a job because it's what's expected. It's when you go through the motions and you're on the hamster wheel because it's what's expected. It's when you host a bunko night at your house. Are people still playing bunko? Because it's what's expected. No, no, that never feels good. So that was one reason. The second reason why I kept going was because it paid the bills. I mean, this is what I 5 years to build this brand. And I invested a lot of money. I invested a lot of time. You all invested a lot of your time. And I didn't want to believe that it wasn't feeling anything less than fantastic, yet it was not. And then number three is the Unmute Yourself brand, the podcast, the book, the keynote, all of it. It's who I am. It was my identity. Unmute yourself. If you were to Google that, I haven't done that in a while, but I would imagine my speeches, my podcast, the book, that'll be what comes up. So again, like I said, it wasn't bringing me joy. The results for my clients was bringing me joy. And I felt this, I don't want to use the word shift, but I will. I felt myself being pulled in a different direction towards a different message, somewhat similar. I'm going to say same zip code as Unmute Yourself. Unmute Yourself adjacent, if you will. And this message is that you deserve to thrive. You can set healthy boundaries. You can manage your energy. You can choose how you're speaking to yourself. Let's do a quick example for those of you who are new here. Just had a speaking gig last week. Shout out to my friends at HFMA. And we talked a little bit about how words matter, and this still resonates. So are you overwhelmed or are you overextended? Two very different things. Overwhelmed means, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. I can't handle this. I can't even help you help me. And overwhelmed is about me. I'm overwhelmed. I can't process this. Whereas overextended is, there is more on my plate than I can manage. I am overextended. When you tell someone you're overextended, what's the first thing that they're going to say? They're going to say, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What can I take off your plate for you? If you say I'm overwhelmed, they may have no idea why you're overwhelmed. And you might not even be able to tell them. Whereas overextended is, there's too much on my plate. Spoiler alert, I have a pretty cool expression that I heard, and I wish I could give this person credit. When you're overextended, try saying, I have as much on my plate as I'm comfortable with right now. I love that. Or if you don't want to take something new on, if you do not have the capacity to take on something new, I have as much on my plate as I'm comfortable with. So here's why I love that, because you really, really take back your power. It's not, I have too much on my plate. It's not, I'm overextended, because if I'm overextended, it's whose fault is that? Not that we place blame here, but we do on ourselves. If I have as much on my plate as I'm comfortable with, you have that power. I am comfortable with what's on my plate. I'm not taking any more. That's, to me, that's like drop the mic. So anyway, I digressed. Back to the Thrive Hive. So I was talking to a bunch of different women, some friends, some colleagues, some new friends, and we were talking about this concept of thriving and what thriving means. And we were talking about the absence of a group of women who really are ready to do what they need to do to thrive. And I'm going to come back to that. Because that's going to be that's going to be the path forward. Before I do that, a couple other things that are similar to Unmute Yourself. So you have to speak up in order to thrive. You can't live a life where you are living your best life if you are not advocating for yourself, if you're not advocating for your needs. The Unmute Yourself brand started with the confidence crisis and women lacking the confidence to speak up. You cannot thrive without being confident that it is your right, whoever makes the decisions universally to you, your God-given right, the universe, I don't know, Beyonce, whoever, it is your right to live a life where you thrive every day. You have that right. It's on you to set your life up like that. And we're going to get to that in a second. Okay. So you can have a nice life. You can have a life where you're content. You can have a life where you're happy. That's great. And that's fantastic. Actually, that's fortunate. A lot of people don't have that kind of life. A lot of people don't have that kind of life. What I'm talking about is truly thriving. And to me, here's my definition of what it means to truly thrive. I'm going to read this because I wrote this down and I really loved it and I don't want to forget anything. I wrote this down actually for speech. So, to me, thriving means to live in full alignment with your values, setting boundaries that protect your energy, honoring your truth without apology, embracing intentional rituals that sustain you, and knowing exactly what you need to do to live your best life. I would add here, and then doing those things. That's the key. I mean, you can know what you need to do. Last night, when I was binging on the couch, binge watching Yellowstone, for those of you who might have just tuned in, I'm like, Nancy, girl, what are you doing? You know that this is not going to end well for you tomorrow morning. Yet I did it. So it's knowing exactly what you need to do and then doing those things. And I want to talk a little bit about honoring your truth without apology. And I want to make sure I'm clear about this because I'm really passionate about what I do. I'm really passionate about this belief. I'm really passionate about this Thrive Hive community. I don't mean that you get to go around not apologizing and stepping all over people or looking out only for yourself without apology. That's not what I mean. What I mean is understanding your values, understanding what's important to you, and stepping into those values, stepping in to live your truth and to live your truth kindly, gracefully, and without apology. I actually might update my definition. That's how much I like it. Okay. So, Podsters. At every single keynote, like I did last week, I talk about this idea of thriving. And if you are not curating this life, which really you jump out of bed every day because it does exist. Every day, 365 days a year, maybe not. Most days, yes, that is available to anyone, anytime. But, and also, it doesn't just happen. You have to take the steps to do that. So if you're cruising along and you're happy and you want to thrive, great. Some fine tuning, some tweaks here and there. We are going to provide that here in the Thrive Hive community on this podcast with my experts that I'm going to bring in. We launched today. I have 4 experts lined up. This is how excited I am about all this. If you are chugging along and you feel that you need to make a bold move or a big change, you're in the right place. This is it. This is what we call, ready? Can I get a drum roll? Reinvention with intention. Now, I think I made that up. It probably exists somewhere. I'm going to repeat it. Reinvention with intention. The reason why I'm repeating it, the reason why I even decided to bring it up, so I was having a conversation with someone earlier today. I mentioned this and her eyes lit up. She practically jumped. We were having a Zoom call. She practically jumped through the monitor. She was so excited about this. And it made me realize that I'm starting to take that for granted a little bit because I say it a lot. This is it. It is purposefully really doing the work you need to figure out what is your next bold move, and then seamlessly, purposefully, and with intention, lining up the framework so that you can make that bold move. That's what we're getting to eventually here. It doesn't mean that every podcast we're going to talk about how to blow up your life, because that's not practical. We are going to talk about women who are excited rather than envious of your success. We're going to bring in women who are excited rather than envious about your success. We're going to talk about things that you simply can't talk with your team about. Maybe you're the boss. Maybe you just don't feel comfortable saying this to your colleagues. Maybe, your partner is great, but they just don't get it. They don't get that one thing that it is that's kind of out there for you. We are going to make authentic connections. Authentic connections. in an environment where you feel comfortable speaking up. Authentic connections with other women who have either already risen or already done what you want to do or are right there with you. This is what we're going to be doing. We're going to have expert advice backed by science, always backed by science, from experts on wellness, boundaries, energy management. I think I talked about this already. Physical wellness, mental wellness, maybe spiritual wellness. I don't know. If you have someone that you think would be a good guest on the podcast, great, bring them on. We are talking real authentic connections. You can drop the boss mask and really, really connect with other women for your business and for your life. So we're launching. It's this week. It's happening. It's here. Here's your call to action. I told you what Thrive means to me. So a couple things. One, I would love to hear from you what thriving means to you. What does that mean? Because it's very different. And I want to make sure that the community that we're curating and that the podcast speaks to you, not just me. I'm not doing this for me. This podcast, it's a self-funded podcast. I don't get paid for it. I don't have commercials on purpose. I actually lose money on this podcast. And I keep doing it, and I keep doing it with love and with passion because I believe in this. I believe in this community. So what does Thrive mean to you? You can hit me up on Insta. You can shoot me a regular message. It's Nancy Medoff at nancymedoff.com. Find me on LinkedIn, wherever. So I'm trying to think what else, because I know I'm forgetting something, Podsters, because I've been talking about this forever. So let me know what Thrive means to you. If you have not yet signed up for my Thrive Hive, which is a lovely way of describing our email community, there's a link in the show notes. It's free. Just sign up. It's going to be great. Sometimes I send out newsletters. Sometimes I have guest people that send things out. Sometimes I refer you back to a podcast. It's usually about something that's happening, either current events or, happening right now with me, which means it's probably eventually happening to you or with you or has happened in the past. So that's the email community. Eventually, we are going to pull together a mastermind. We are going to do a retreat. We're going to do regional meetups. And I'm going to put it out there, Podsters. Last time I put it out there, I didn't do it, so I'm hesitant to do it. And, I'm being honest. There is going to be a book. And in the book, I am going to ask some of you to share your stories of your reinvention with intention, because I know many of you have done it. And so here's what I want to talk about. Here's how this all came to be. I was sitting in, where was I? Naples, Florida, enjoying a veal Milanese. And I think the person that I'm going to talk about listens to this podcast. She's going to know this is her. So I was with a client and we were talking, we were just having a nice dinner and we were talking and I was kind of talking about, I'm just not sure. Unmute yourself. It's been very good to me and I love it and I loved it. It's just not feeling aligned right now. And she said, oh, all right. Well, yeah, you need to look at your business and like you're reinventing your business. And I was kind of taken aback. First of all, I'm the coach. I'm kidding. I was taken aback because I was like, okay. And then I realized that she's right. And I didn't realize that I was in this middle of this, something's going on here. And I'm going to come out of this. And I'm going to come out of this with a new something. I wasn't sure what it was. And the conversation really gave me permission to explore that. You know who you are. And it was a great conversation. And that was the beginning. That was the seed of the Thrive Hive. So if you're in it, and if right now you're thinking there's got to be something different, there's got to be something more, there's got to be something else, we're going to do that. We're going to do that here in this community. And if you want some one-on-one time, I'm going to do this for the launch. So for the month of April, this is going to expire April, I think 28th. For the month of April, I'm doing a community coupon, I'm calling it. So I'm launching this community and I'm taking my one-on-one coaching package, which typically is a 12-week minimum and it's a 12-week requirement. So I am taking away the 12-week requirement and I'm asking for a 2-month minimum. So it's 2 months. The reason I do that is because I do not think that you can make sustainable change in less than 2 months. I don't. And if you want to try to talk me into it, because you think you can do it sooner, great. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. There's an application in the show notes. So not only that, I'm offering it for 2 months and I'm cutting the price in half. The reason why I'm cutting the price in half is because the whole point of this community is to get the message out to more people and to make sure that more women are thriving. And I know that the 12-week minimum and that price point does not work for everyone. And I have one slot open. I might do 2 more slots. I have a repeat client who wanted to work one-on-one. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do this 2 months. I'm going to cut the pricing in half. And she signed that contract like that. It was literally 30 seconds and she paid the invoice in 30 seconds. And that felt so good to me. It felt so good to me that she believed so much that this was a good value for her and that she was going to get the results. She was so excited that it was boom. And that felt incredibly good to me, was her excitement. So I want to be able to do that for more people. So fill out the application. What else do I have for you? Join the community. Check back here next week. We are rocking and rolling. And you trust me, you want to be on this rocket ship. So Podsters, with that, peace out.